Welcome to Talking Business. We talk to all kinds of people here, young business people, established business people, and we've got a young businessman, Walter Chimene, 23 years old, based in Marondera, runs a phenomenal speaking consultancy company. And he's also the Africa representative for the Global League of Extraordinary Young Thought Leaders, a global initiative by billionaire Richard Branson, together with many other, fairly well-to-do and wealthy business people who've done it, and you're trying to emulate, I suppose.
True.
Okay, you were telling me earlier on that Zimbabwe has one of the lowest youth entrepreneurship rate, right? Mm-hmm. And that job creation among the youth obviously is low because the youth are not creating their own companies, for instance. And obviously that government needs to do something. What is the something that government needs to do?
Government needs to start playing a key role in the context that they need to become part of the value chain of entrepreneurship. They need to become an instigator. I'll give you an example. You find right now the initiatives being done by the Ministry of Youth or the small to medium enterprises, which is fine. But my feeling is that the new angle which we need to take as a paradigm shift, as the cliche goes, set up systems within those platforms where there is special concern for our bright young people who are genius and who can perform, to the pretext that...
But you are suggesting that then we must just focus on people like you who have been recognized to be genius. What about the majority, the rest of everybody else?
I'm saying the setup should have an atmosphere where even if we pick a rural young person from Chipinge there, and we feel that this young person at 5 can really play football, you get him into that system. If we feel that there's a young person who is very good in music in Chiendambuya, we bring them into that platform where there's a special focus to groom them as young people who are bright and who can contribute to this society. To the pretext that we don't say, grow up first, then we'll talk to you later. Whereas my feeling is that to an extent, this is part of what has resulted even in flight skills in this country. Because someone feels that they can do 10 or so things. They go into a scenario, maybe less is actually appreciated. They said to themselves, maybe let me just go to America. The people that I went through the program with, the other 3, as soon as they finished the program, they went. They said to themselves, this society is just too slow, which is not true in any case. But this is a setup which I think government needs to do.
Okay, let's be very atmosphere. Okay, let's be very practical. Mm-hmm. If you were in government, what would you do to achieve exactly what you are saying?
There's been set up of many institutions with chief executives and MDs by government. Most of them, of course, on the economic side of things. We need that in terms of this entrepreneurial setup, with a special focus on youth, especially who are multi-talented. I think they'll be very much contributive to this country.
What then becomes the role of colleges, of schools, of secondary schools, of tertiary institutions? Because that's what the government is trying to cultivate, isn't it? They create a tertiary institution so that you've got skills. If your skills are in carpentry, in engineering, you then address through those institutions. If your skills are in mathematics, then you go up the ladder right up to university to study mathematics. Yeah. So the institutions are there, isn't it?
They are very much there. But my angle is to say they need a special focus on our gifted young people, where it's a directive conscious drive to say on any corner of this country, if there is someone who is gifted, who is multi-talented, no matter gender or social background, they are put up with a focus on that. You find that if you talk to people in colleges right now, they are saying the drive of entrepreneurship isn't as high as they would want it to be. To the context that normally the ideas being taken by some of these institutions, banking institutions, or financial institutions in entrepreneurship, are actually taking the traditional, the piggery, the poultry, the peanut butter making. But for example, if someone says, I think my idea can enable us to put a space station in this country, normally, from what I've understood, people who are there might actually reject it. We need that sort of special focus to say if there are innovative, creative ideas which we think can result in innovative development.
Let's take the example you gave me. You said there's a young boy in Chiendambuya, very brilliant in football. What should the government do?
The government do. When they have set up this institution, like I'm saying, the key people who are actually enrolled in to work for this institution understand the essence of genius. We have even people who are here.
Fantastic. They understand the essence of genius. They've got this genius, young footballer. Could be the best thing that ever happened in the football world. What do they do with the young man?
When they bring him in, they might actually put them in normal schooling systems. But like what they do in other countries, they can actually go to your normal, let's say Prince Edward or your Churchill. But they actually have programs where they go in after the schooling to say, but you need to understand that you're actually a footballing genius, like a Joshua. George Weah was 5-time Footballer of the Year. This means that the way his mind was vibrating as a footballer was higher than the normal guys. And I think if we can see that sort of resemblance in young people, when we put them in, it is in the normal setup where you're saying it's junior football, you grow up, under 17, 23, then maybe you can go abroad. The understanding should be world class. So, for example, they will say, if you're a young footballer, how then do you match your talent right now to Ronaldinho or Kaká right now when they're 10? So they understand what needs to be done at personal level. So that the young people don't wait for a platform to be created for them before they can act. They say to the government, we need an atmosphere. Platforms will create on our own and contribute meaningfully to society. In a scenario where they don't say that we need to grow up first before we can act. You find, for example, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. He's 23 years old and he's a billionaire. And he started this journey many years ago to say, how then do I create an opportunity or find an opportunity where I can make up a setup which can contribute to my society, become relevant, of course, make the money. Because my belief is that if we can have as many young people becoming wealthy and we can contribute to society, much strain will go on government on issues, let's say, of roads and infrastructure. Even a good example, we have challenges in our warriors, the national team, going to another foreign country to train or travel. Imagine if we have, let's say, 20,000 people of Nigel Chanakira's caliber or your caliber up there with that understanding of business, but that person is 17 or 18. It means the opportunity that they see, the idea that they create is world class and becomes relevant to this society. So when they make the billions, they'll say to themselves, I need to make a road, put this infrastructure, put this and that. So that we don't strain the government to say we need roads, we need infrastructure, we need them to fund the warriors as well. So everyone plays a part, a key role, especially our young people.
Okay, unfortunately, we have to end it here, Walter. But it's certainly a discussion that we'd like to take forward some other day. Okay. Before we go, what advice would you give to other young people out there about entrepreneurship, about creating opportunities for themselves?
I would say this. When you're an entrepreneur, understand that you must be smart, you must be brave, you must be eloquent. More importantly, the opportunity that you are seeing, you aren't the only one seeing it. So the issue of time becomes important. And more so, how you move between now and Victory Day is up to you. You're not in charge of the universe. So this becomes critical. Make entrepreneurship a philosophy to say to yourself, I need to become my own boss, till I make my own working conditions, and especially determine my own salary. If we start at that level and going on forward with the understanding of how we need to do our homework in business, I'll tell you, this country will take it to the next level.
Walter Chimene, Managing Director of Eloquent Solutions. Thank you very much for joining us on Talking Business.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And that is all for tonight on Talking Business. My name is Supa Mandiwanzira. But before I go, your feedback. Thank you for writing through. Keep the comments coming through. We will certainly air some of them when we can. Thank you for joining us tonight on Talking Business. Once again, my name is Supa Mandiwanzira. Thanks to my guest, Walter Chimene. We will have another guest on this year program next week, same time, 9 p.m. on ZTV. Good night.